Shalom. Call Halo Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name is Barad Debar, coming to you from the GMS camp in Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom, especially to you so called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, just have a topic in mind. Came across a couple of videos. Of course, this is two of many videos, things that are out in the world that is that Esau Edom has in store, so-called white man. But just going to touch on these two. Maybe speak on the major one in which he's coming with pretty soon. But the first thing I want to get this is in Matthew chapter 24, verse is 24. It says, "For there shall be, oh, excuse me, for there shall arise false Hamashiachs," that Christ is anointed, false Christ, Hamashiachs, and false prophets, and they shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Now, the big thing is if it were possible, because Yahweh Shai, he also made mention, and I believe it's in the book of John, but he's made mention that, there would be some that would not be able to be plucked from out of his hand, roughly paraphrasing. He also talks about, I believe in John chapter 17, where he's speaking to Yahweh, and he says, those that are thine are mine, and those that are mine are thine. Pretty much um, explaining that there will be some, the elect members that would pretty much stay close to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, roughly, paraphrasing. Like he also had mentioned, there's a scripture that talks about, the sheep will follow him wherever he may goeth, wherever the master Yahweh Shai will go, when the word is spoken, the sheep will hear his voice. And so again, I'm roughly paraphrasing. I'm at work, and actually, just like always, when you have an ideal in mind and you're engaged, and it's actually out winter, cold, trying to put my lessons together, and my phone wanted to act up. So of course, these are a few scriptures that just came to mind. But of course, the main point is this, great signs and wonders, you know. Um, and again, the main point is for us to endure. You have this knowledge, this wisdom and understanding. Yahweh Shai said, "He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved." So we know that in the scriptures, in this writings of Yahweh Bashim Shai, there will be some that will endure. All right, and there will be some, as we read here, um, they shall deceive the very elect, if it was possible. So we know that there are going to be elect members who will not be deceived. Um, and so we go into the book. Actually, let's go ahead and get these couple videos. I'm gonna play one, and then I'll get another one, maybe another scripture or so will come to mind. But this is something that just came up. Fair use, fair use. Um, and as you can see, all right. Well, if it pops in. So the point of it, as you can see, Nike creates robot shoe to give runners a bionic boost. So they created a running shoe, and you could actually look it up for yourself. But they're creating a running shoe, and actually in the video they mentioned that they've been doing this for almost 10 years now, trying to create a system for those who are, in this case, like the average type of runner, or not even average, those of like maybe grandparents, those of age who wanted to pick up walking, long distances and running. They created this shoe where when they put on the shoe, it actually has a gadget that comes up into the like up to the calf, and it goes around the calf, and it clamps on. And when you click on the button, you could actually, I guess the way that he explained it, you could feel the energy pulse within your legs. And when you actually run, you could feel, well, as he was saying, you could feel it give you this push, as if it's actually upholding you, holding you up. And many people will see these things and go, nothing wrong with getting the shoe. But what it is that they will see these wonders and they will actually uh, have the mindset of what will they think of next? If you ever heard that, what will they come up with next? And so many people will be looking to get on the next best thing, um, and and in their mindset, you know, Esau Edom has created all these different devices from video games and from television series and things like that to what we call gradualism, to gradually gear the minds of the people toward an ultimate end or ultimate enterprise for them. And that ultimate enterprise is that MOTB, the mark, the chip, all right, where it tells us in Revelations 13, where he's going to cause all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, and bond, to place this mark, charagma, in their right hand and their forehead. And so, uh, but Yahweh says, Yahweh Bashim Shai say, for all those who take it, will be destroyed. Because going into this, you are pretty much pledging your allegiance, to a habitually or perpetual servitude to the enemy, Esau Edom, so-called white man. So let me hit play here and see if something comes up. Okay, nothing. All right. This is another one. And so this other one here, this was, as you can see, Tom Brady says he cloned his dog that died in 2023. And so now, this is something that has been in the works. People they've been working on ways to, bring children into the world without parents, just using the cell and machine, of course, AI, things of that nature. uh, and their scientists, on the left hand side, has pretty much worked on ways to set themselves up as the Most High, as when we get that in Second Thessalonians chapter 2. You see that they'll set themselves up as the Most High, putting themselves in the seat of the Most High, as if they are the Most High. Again, roughly paraphrasing. You see how my phone is acting, but he actually has invested in this company. And you can look this up and you'll see that he invested in this company. And there it is here. Okay. Um, it says Tom Brady says he cloned his dog, right? And it's on the Today Show. And so you can tell, like, he invested in the company. Of course, they did the clone of his dog in 2023, and now they are actually seeing the results. He's now walking around with the dog, which they say is practically a replica, of the previous dog, and are trying to say, even in some aspects, that even the spirit of how the dog moves is just like the other one, right? Again, playing the Most High, and this is going to deceive a lot of people, because again, people are going to go into uh, when things get chaotic, and when there is um, there's no food, famine, when there's sedition among men, and people are looking for protection, they're looking for food, you know, uh, in these cities, these metropolitan places, it's done nothing but made the people more and more reliant on the system, the government, um, you know, the system, the military, the police, and pretty much a lot of that is going to fail. And so, of course, when they are looking for food and different subsidies, money, things of that nature, they're going to come with this greater thing. As to how they're going to implement it, we see portions of how they're moving, but we just know that in the end, it's going to be implemented, and we have to keep our minds prepared for it. And when it comes, uh, this is the book of Thessalonians, and we'll end here. This is the book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 2, in we'll start at verse 7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work, Only he who will let it, who now letteth, will let until he be taken out of the way. He, meaning Yahweh Shai, is allowing for Esau to come with all his left-handed means. He's going to do it at the highest level and at a perfection, because he has that. He's pretty much the deceiver on the left-hand side, you know, doing the works of Satan. And so we have to keep in mind that uh, this is a spiritual fight. We're not fighting against flesh and blood, but spirits in high places, and that's Ephesians chapter 6, um, where we must put on the full armor of the Most High. Okay, in order to, which is this word, in order to be shielded and protected for the things to come, because we know also that He is going to come down. Like He's going to come down upon the inhabitants of the earth. Revelations 12 verse 12, because we know that He had for a short time. So while everybody's eating and drinking, giving in marriage, and still trying to find ways to get their plates filled for this upcoming Thanksgiving holiday, you know, he's still working in the works in the background to find ways to ensnare and trap the inhabitants of the earth. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So using signs like such as the Nike shoe and showing that they can clone and bring animals back or things of that nature is a deceivable work. As we read in verse 8, it says, "And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is by the prophets." They bring out these things to let you know who the wicked is. And in Job, it talks about the tokens, you know, of his people, and you can tell by the way their works. Okay, um, they that sow to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And if you see that they're very fleshly people, they don't have Yahweh by Shemiel Shai at all in their thoughts, right? It says, verse 9, it says, even whose coming is after the working of Satan. That's what it said. Everything that they're pushing is going to be of the devil. It's going to be adverse and contrary to the Most High. So the Lord, brings people and animals back into this world. Now they're trying to play that and say that they can do the same. The Lord has technology, which He's given the devil his technology. That's where he's fully deceived by. But like with the chariots and things that we're seeing in the flying and being revealed, then you have, of course, the devil, which has his space force and centers and different things in which his AI and robots that they're creating to try to fight against the Lord. But he says, um, verse 9 again, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. See, there's that. These signs are lying wonders. All right. So let's not get caught up and get fooled by them. Signs and lying wonders. He says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth. Because you're not listening to the prophets, to giving you the truth of who you are, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, if your bloodline goes back on the father's side to an Israelite, one of those Israelite nation tribes. If you're not listening and you're scoffing the prophets in which He set forth, all right, and yet you decide to listen to Esau Edom, you're going to be destroyed. He says, because they receive not the love of the truth, they might be saved. And for this cause, the Most High will send them strong delusions that they shall believe a lie. Okay, so many of our people, 2/3, are going to believe the lies and things that are pushed out in this earth. It says that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. The last thing I have come to mind just in that, he says, envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the froward is an abomination unto the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. So I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting of some sort to the elect body of true believers. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. Until next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say, Shalom.